Hello, everyone. We are back. We're talking about TV news. There's not much, so don't worry. We'll try to. Well, rush isn't the right word. We'll try to get through quick because we got the Xbox stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So first things first. Star Wars Rebels. It's the new animated series from about Star Wars. Obviously, it's set between episode 3 and 4. Which is like a 20-year gap, so there's a lot to do there.
A decent amount of time. The show could last a few seasons.
It's involved. It has Dave Filoni, who's involved in the Clone Wars. Greg Weisman, Simon Kinberg. Those guys. Simon Kinberg, I believe, is a movie guy, and Greg Weisman is also, I believe, the movie guy. So they're all involved in it. And there was a short little featurette that they released a couple days ago that kind of took them through. They went through the ranch or whatever, the Lucas Ranch.
Yeah.
And they kind of talked about what their plans were. Like, they've got a whole book on concept art that was done for the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, well, we couldn't use this concept art if we were making a movie set after or during the original series, right? Because there already is a set look for the X-Wing and a set look for a TIE fighter and all that stuff, and the right amount of, like, how many windshield like segments are there on a TIE fighter. All those things, they're already set. We already know those things. But now, because it's set before this fourth film, they can use those things as references, and they can include
as, like,
those
precursors to those existing things.
As exactly. So they can be more creative. And if I'd be honest with you right now, this is the perfect time frame where I would want to see a movie or a new series be set.
Because there's not just like a big gap temporally between episodes 3 and 4, but like, and episode 3 is the beginning of the Empire or whatever. Episode 4, it's
the fall of the Empire.
It's very established.
It's the end of the fall of the Empire. We see the beginning of the Empire and the beginning of the end of the Empire. We have seen no part. Have we ever seen any part of where the Empire is just around?
How, not just that it's in power, but how it's being built. Because like episode 3 at the end, you see the Death Star under construction, which you have to assume that takes a long time to build.
You'd think, although also they destroyed it and then rebuilt it really quick.
So. That's true. Maybe they were already planning. I don't know. Anyways, so whatever. Then the Death Star's around, but also no. In episode 4, the Death Star's like a new thing. Like nobody's ever seen something like that before. So maybe they kept it secret for the whole time. I don't know. But Vader's obviously not just, sitting around doing nothing that whole time. And there are other Jedi in the universe that haven't been wiped out by Order 66. So that's probably what they're going to be doing with this show. Also, the rebellion has to start. Like, it has to be established within this TV show. So
that's true.
You're going to have some meetings or whatever, and people are going to create this rebellion that's going to lead to bigger, better things in the movies.
Clone Wars has General Akbar in it.
Okay.
So they have characters that they've already touched on, that what they've been doing before those movies, and they talked about like a rebellion and a bunch of other stuff. So there's seeds set.
Do they have Mon Mothma in it? Because I'm pretty sure she's a big part of the rebellion.
Mon Mothma, I think so.
It's a lady. She's a human lady. She's red hair. Short hair, wears white a lot.
No, I don't know if maybe she isn't. But
she's in
spoilers,
episode 3, briefly, I think.
I don't want to ruin anything for anyone. But spoilers, quick here for Clone Wars season 5. So 1, 2, 3 spoilers.
Well, no, because I haven't fucking watched it either. It's spoilers for me.
Okay, well I want to talk about.
Say whatever you want to say, and I'll take my headphones off. But like, it really serves no purpose at that point.
Okay. Well, I just want to say what I'll look forward to seeing in. It's just one little thing.
Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna listen.
In Star Wars Rebels. Okay. Well, I want to see Ahsoka. Ahsoka lives. Spoilers. Ahsoka lives. I want to see her appear in this. See what's going on, because she doesn't die. She's cast out from the Jedi Order, and so she. Well, that's not. I don't want to get too much into it. Anyway, so she's not in the Jedi Order anymore.
That's a pretty big spoiler, but whatever.
So she doesn't die, but I want to see her appear in it somewhere. What's she doing? What's she up to? Does she get killed in this period of time? Is that why she doesn't appear in any of the later movies, or is any of that kind of stuff?
That's probably what they had in mind when they did that. When she if she wasn't killed in the Clone Wars, it's because they want to use that character in this series.
That's possible. Well, I mean, at the same,
that makes the most sense.
At at the time they wrote that episode, I don't think they knew about this whole thing.
Well,
so
they probably knew that
didn't.
they probably knew somewhat that they were coming to an end and they wanted to do something else. They
That's
probably
fair.
knew.
And
They probably had plans for either a movie or a TV show between episode 3 and 4.
I would hope so, because there was supposed to be a live action television show set in that time.
Yeah, and they wrote like 50 episodes of the show, and then it's still not going to happen.
Yeah, so it's like, God, yeah, it's true. Whatever. So that we could all know that show's not going to happen. So we could all look forward to this. I mean, if it's half as good as Star Wars, Clone Wars was in the final seasons, then we'll be happy. Moving on, we got Star Trek. There was going to be another TV series. Abrams really wanted to incorporate the films and television and like online stuff all to be very integrated. But because of the TV rights being held by CBS and the movie rights being held by Paramount, there was just like a lot of bureaucracy essentially. During the time the original reboot was being sent out or being like released, CBS was releasing merchandise that was branded with like the original series with like Shatner.
Okay.
So Abrams went to them. He's like, "Well, you guys are confusing people. Can you please stop this?" They didn't, and because of that kind of stuff, that never ended up happening. Which is part of the reason I think we can look at is why he went to work on Star Wars. Other than the fact that it's Star Wars, is because
it's its own property. You don't have to argue with it.
He now has control over that whole universe. He can make TV shows. He can make movies. He can make spin-off movies. He doesn't have to worry about that kind of bureaucracy as much, other than with Disney, obviously. Which I thought that was just an interesting little tidbit. Also, another interesting little tidbit. Steven Spielberg has made millions off of Star Wars because when George Lucas was making the first Star Wars, I read this article last week. I thought it was really cool. Was that he was making Star Wars and he didn't have very much confidence in it, and at the same time, Spielberg was making like what's it called?
Indiana Jones.
Like Invaders from Space, or I don't know. It's like another space.
Close Encounters of the Third.
Thank you, Close Encounters. And which was a good movie, but he went to Spielberg and he's like, "Well, do you want to do this little thing? Like, I'll give you 2% of my movie, you give me 2% of yours, and we'll do a little flip, whatever." So he gets 2% of Star Wars. Sure, I mean, like Lucas made some money off of Close Encounters, but Spielberg has been making money off of Star Wars for years, like millions of dollars from that 2%.
I doubt he's bitter though. I don't. Lucas.
I'm done.
They both made a lot of money.
I don't think anyone's bitter about it at all. I'm just saying. I just think that's interesting, little like how that happened, like why he's making so much money off of that. So, 24 is coming back to television with Kiefer Sutherland. It's coming back as a 13-episode miniseries. Not really sure why it's called 24 if it's not 24 one-hour episodes. But whatever. I don't know.
I never really, like, 24 is a cool show. I just never really followed it to the point that I'd be excited about a new season.
I saw the first season. It was interesting, but I mean, I never got into it as much as everyone else did. I think it's interesting that they're bringing him back. Kiefer Sutherland, Canadian, so that's cool. Other than that, I have not much to say about that as a fan of 24 because I'm not really. CW has said that they're still working on a Wonder Woman show. The last one that they did called Amazon, didn't get picked up. They made
a pilot and it didn't work.
Yeah,
right?
It didn't get picked up. So what they're saying is that they haven't given up. There's a script in the works now, and it will be piloted out of sequence, like not at the regular fall time.
Okay.
If it's something they want to do, essentially. The Office came to an end this week. That's a pretty big deal. That show's been on the air for many years.
And I'm really mad because I recorded on my PVR. I didn't have a chance to watch it. But then by the time I got to the recording, because I have so many other things on my PVR that are set to like not like Game of Thrones, it's set to record and then only erase when I want to erase it. Office got erased automatically, and I haven't seen the finale. So I have to look it up.
I like The Office, not as much as a big fan. I have a hard time watching like those like awkward comedies.
It's not even
just because it's
perfect.
It is.
Office
it totally is an awkward.
Parks
comedy.
and Rec is hilarious.
Anyway, it's funny. It's really funny. Also, speaking of Parks and Rec, I saw a a clip of like the Star Wars filibuster or whatever.
Okay.
That was like from us. It was totally like what's the word where you don't have a script in? It's like
Ad lib.
ad libbed essentially. It's just a filibuster, and he's just talking about what Star Wars Episode 7 will be. It's just the most ridiculous thing, and they did like a little animated thing about it. It's really funny. So guys, look up Star Wars filibuster. It's hilarious.
Okay. Wait, did you even look up that Liam Neeson thing when we took a break?
No, I didn't. I did not do that. I'll watch it later. Don't worry about it. So the end of The Office happened. I know that it was a big series. Again, not a huge fan, but I mean, appreciate that it lasted so long.
It's still hilarious. Like I think the earlier seasons were better just because it was so fresh, and like after Steve Carell left, like I don't know, it lost a little bit, but like it's still funny stuff. I still laugh out loud at every episode, so I'm sad to see it go. But maybe it was time. Like it was kind of getting a little much.
That makes sense.
I want to buy the seasons anyways, though. It's awesome show.
Community, Dan, back for the 5th season.
I'm pumped. I mean, like, I was ready for it to be done just because I assumed that this would be the last season, just the way things have been going. There's been a lot of drama behind the scenes with the show, and they haven't been getting the best ratings. But the last few episodes of the season really, pulled their shit together, and they produced some solid, like, classic Community episodes that I was very excited to see, just as a fan. And I also know that they got really good ratings, better than most of NBC's other stuff going on. Like, NBC dropped a lot of comedies. Yeah, NBC is, like, really, like, their biggest stuff is, like, The Voice and all that kind of stuff. But Community
NBC's not doing well right now.
They did better. The Community did better than a lot of the other comedies. I know NBC, they dropped Up All Night and Whitney and stuff like that, and I think Guys with Kids. So, I don't know. I mean, it's good news. I love Community. Community is my favorite comedy on TV. So,
better than Archer?
Yeah.
Which is back, by the way. It'll be back for
Archer's pretty
season.
awesome. Bob's Burgers is awesome as well. I mean, then The Office and Parks and Rec and Modern Family are awesome. But Community is my favorite comedy on TV right now. Definitely.
Fair enough. So it was right, like, came down to the wire. It got picked up on the last day of renewals.
Mm-hmm.
Second year in a row that it's been almost canceled. So
they pulled it through.
Yeah, that's good news for them.
I don't know. They've had a couple like lackluster episodes, but overall this season they still did a good job, and they earned it. I think with those last few episodes.
Good. Well, that's good then. I'm glad for the community and the community of community.
You should learn how to watch that show.
So we did say we were going to talk about Xbox One coming up, but there's a TV angle to it as well. That Steven Spielberg came out with a video saying, "I'm sorry I couldn't make it," but obviously he wasn't going to be there. That he would be involved in some way, they didn't say how, in a Halo television series, most likely that will be exclusive to Xbox One, which is pretty cool in my opinion. But I really like the Halo universe. I think it's a very rich universe. I think and there's just so much you can do with it. I mean, I've read 2 of the books in the Halo like expanded universe stuff.
Okay,
that's considered canon, and it's really good. Like I read the big one, it's called Reach or Fall. Anyway, something like that. It's set before the events of the game Halo Reach. And it's about like how Master Chief was like selected as a young boy and was like raised and then given these enhancements, and how some of his friends didn't make it through, and then how he only knows how to be a soldier. It's just purely like one of the most interesting sci-fi universes I know of. I mean, obviously I love Star Wars, obviously I love Star Trek, but Halo is
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. It was right. All those are all right up there for me as far as rich, interesting worlds that I would want to see more of, especially on television.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, we will get to more Xbox One stuff coming up right away.
And yeah, that like really the only announcement. It's a Halo TV show. We don't really know any details as of yet.
No details. Spielberg's involved, probably just as an executive producer. If I had to guess, like he might direct the pilot. That's like the new cool thing to do, is just direct the pilot. But I don't think he's being involved in like a day-to-day basis. He's too busy.
Yeah, he's got shit going on.
comics-wise, there's really nothing to talk about. There's one little bit of news, is that Wonder Woman is going to be appearing in Smallville Season 11, so now we've had Batman and now Wonder Woman. Same kind of ideal before she takes on the name Wonder Woman, but she's still Amazonian, still from Themyscira, all that good stuff. If you're reading it, it's apparently really good. I never read it just because I never watched the show, so it's hard for me to jump in. I've heard that you could kind of jump in with the season 11 stuff and recaps what's going on, but I would rather watch the seasons first and then read it. That's just my personal view. I read Age of Ultron number 8 came out this week. That was interesting.
I have to catch up on that still.
But other than that, I mean, I won't spoil it because we haven't gone too much into it so far. Do you have anything else to say about television news or
no? Television comics, I think we're pretty much done with.
Okay, so we'll jump into gaming. Again, I'm gonna jump right into gaming.
So sick of hearing that.
As soon as we get back, so stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks for listening to this excerpt from our Tower of Babble podcast. If you want to hear more, you can find the rest at towerofbabblepodcast.com and on iTunes and Stitcher. But we want to know what you think, so send us questions or concerns to towerofbabblepodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter @TowerBabblecast and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TowerBabblecast.